I left the Leica at home so I wouldn't be tempted. I wanted to shoot with the Nikon Z7 II today because of the remote. I want to try TTL with these lights. The lights I'm using today are the Neewer Q4s. I have two of them, one back here. I have this one in a smaller softbox, and then this one in a large softbox. I should have a grid on that, but I didn't put it away correctly, so it's somewhere in the studio and I can't find it. Hopefully I'll find it before the shoot, but I doubt it. Always put your gear away where it goes. This is the larger softbox with the grid, and I'm going to use the reflector. I did 2 shoots with these yesterday, and spoiler alert, they were really impressive. I shot only in manual mode because they were clients, and I couldn't share them because they were clients that didn't want to be on my channel, which I don't know why. Anyway, the other thing is this reflector. You know, I was confused with the comments from people saying these are clones of Godox. And I don't see it. But then someone made a comment about the reflector. It's the same reflector as Godox, so it has to be a clone of Godox. I don't care if it's made in the same manufacturing plant and nothing's changed but the logo. It's just a reflector. That's like, you know, if these shipped with an umbrella and Godox shipped with an umbrella and they were the same umbrella, you'd be going, oh, it's a clone of Godox. There's nothing about this that's cloned. You know, it may have some of the same components in it. I don't know, but there are differences, obvious differences that makes it its own product. And let's face it, everything's a clone of everything else. It's like saying my Nikon is a clone of a Sony because it has a Sony sensor in it. It's just ridiculous. And I'm not saying anything against the person that made the comment. It's, you know, these are not the greatest reflectors. They don't put out as much output as a faceted, larger reflector, but they work for what they do. And with the frosted glass on the, the glass tube covering in this, I think it's going to give a nice look. Sometimes more is just more. It's not better, and that's like where we're. And I think the whole industry is losing this. Sometimes more pixels aren't better. They're just more pixels. It doesn't make a better photograph. I know we want new. But I'm looking for inexpensive lights that someone getting into lighting can purchase and start their career with, or start their journey in lighting with. I don't expect people to go, oh wow, they're so good, I have to dump all my Godox gear, my Profoto gear, my whatever gear, and buy these now. That's not what this is for. For me, this is for me to be able to say, my one-on-one teaching sessions, where I have people come in and I teach them how to do lighting. This will show them that, hey, I can buy 2 of these units right now for, I think, $600. That's absolutely incredible. And if you can get 2 of these units, or even one to start with one of their speed lights, it's a great starting point. Now, if the TTL works, and I do not have any kind of hope for that. I mean, I can't even fathom a $300, 400 watt second light working in TTL mode. I don't see it happening because I've had Godox, I've had some of the Profotos. TTL mode is hit and miss at best. The only good TTL I ever found, and because I haven't researched them all, but accurate TTL was the Sony flashes with the Sony cameras. It was always accurate for me. Anyway, getting back to this. I'm looking forward to using this in TTL to start, to see what it is. I'm looking forward to using just the reflector and shooting just with that. And, just putting these things through the test and through the paces and see how they handle, see how the battery holds up. I just think it's going to be a fun shoot. I do love the form factor. The more and more I'm using it, I'm loving it more and more. I don't know why. Maybe mentally it's a novelty, but the flash isn't a novelty. It is a good flash. and it's working perfectly for the shoots that I've done with it. So today's shoot, I can play more and have fun more and test more because, you know, they're coming in specifically because I asked them, I want to play with these lights, get your ass in here, and do videos. And, you know, they both agreed to it, so, you know, I can show them. Anyway, so that's what we're going to do today. You know, there's nothing better or worse than any other brand that I can tell. I've never used the Godox 400, so it may be fantastic. I don't know. But at $300, if these things are doing what they're doing so far, yeah, no, it's not even a question. I'm getting 2 of these versus 1 of something else. This is the remote. I'm not really good at this, I apologize, the close-up stuff. It's a nice remote, you know, it's big for me. You know, I like small remotes, that's why I use the Connect on the ProPhoto system. But to be able to throw, and I did try both of them in that one bag that I showed yesterday. Let me just show it again. Yeah, I always forget the name of this light, and I apologize to the company for doing that because Low Pro. I'm guessing it's just a messenger bag, but both of these with the reflectors fit in here without issue, and I can throw it over my shoulder and have a whole studio in a bag like this, which that's really impressive to me. I got to put that out there. But you know, portability isn't the only thing. They have to be good. They have to stand up to the workload. I'm pretty sure now that they state there's 400 full power flashes out of these things. I think the batteries are great. You can charge the battery inside the unit, which that's great too. You know, there's a bunch of pluses with these that I really am enjoying so far. The remote, like I said, it's good. It works. It does the job. I had a little confusion on how to turn up the modeling light. I still really don't know, it just happened, but I'll have to read a manual to figure that out. Anyway, let's get to the shoot. I hope you enjoy. If you have any questions about them, please don't hesitate to ask. I can probably answer most questions on these, except for how to turn up the modeling light while I'm using them. Other than that, you know, they were showing, some of the people that were reviewing these were showing this as a handle and holding it. I'm like, no. I mean, it's lighter than most, but it's still a heavy unit. And to do this with that thing, I think it would be a pain, but you buy a light stand. They're cheap. Anyway, let's get to the shoot and see what we can do with these. I have high hopes. I'm using the black boards and a darker background because I want to stress these things out. I am also going to close the blind so it may be darker in here while we're shooting. But I really want you to see what these can do with nothing else but these lights. And putting them through a softbox and a grid is going to be, you know, stressful even on a 400. So thanks for watching as always.
Well, here's another unscripted shoot. I apologize for that. I don't have the time or effort or willpower to sit down and script a video like this. And I'd rather just tell you what I was doing while I'm doing it. The first couple of shots are TTL, right out of the box, boom. You know, it may consider it a little hot on her face, but the TTL handled this really well. Now, the one thing is, she's in a dark coat. It's a brown background, not white. You know, it's like somewhat even tones, so most TTLs can handle this pretty well. But I was impressed that a $300 400 watt light can do TTL like this. I was happy with it, and I did dial it back to -3 when I saw her face. That was it. That's the only adjustment I made. This to me, you know, is right on. Some people may consider this a little hot, but I like the look. So now, believe me, I don't stay with TTL this whole thing. The next time I use TTL is when I start the white backdrop. The power of these is spectacular. You know, like when I switched it to manual, put it at full power, I think I was above f8, ISO 80. I'm shooting at 200th of a second. And this is going through a large softbox and a grid. So, man, if you need more power than that, for everyday studio shooting. I there's more powerful units out there. I love power, you know that, but I'm telling you, in studio, I don't think you would need more power than this. And at 400 watt seconds, it did kind of shock me. It's been a while since I used a 400 watt second unit, and you can't just judge mentally from 3 years ago and what kind of power you had. But this thing put out some power. It seems a little. Oh, watch this. That top handle, like, you didn't even think about it until you're actually using these in the studio. I mean, to be able to pull that down with that top handle and balance it, like, that was. I'm kind of digging that top handle. When I first saw it, I was like, why would you do this? Because it's taking up space, for a case or something like that. I was shocked on how many times I used that top handle. Even when I put them in the bags and pulled them out of the bag, because I was testing the bag to see if they'd fit in the bag and so forth, that top handle was everything. So, they were right. I was wrong. I would love to see it, like, be able to recess a little bit so it goes in and out, but obviously that's just a wish. And probably kind of lame for me to bitch about one thing like that. By the way, that stand that I'm using is a Neewer stand. I'm not like a Neewer fanboy or what do you call it? Like I'm not sponsored by them, but I bought this Neewer stand because it came up on my Instagram feed. I think it was on sale, and I thought, oh, this is unique. I have to try this. I pictured something else, honestly, but when it came in, I was just like, okay, what the hell am I gonna do with this? Because of that side arm versus like a normal stand where you have the top and you can put anything you want on it. I'm using it constantly in the studio. So, and I love the slide up, slide down, and it handled the giant softbox. It handled the, everything. It's nice. The only thing is you have to line up that arm with a leg, otherwise it will tip over. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts. If you put something heavy on there and put it in between two legs, it'll tip over. But if you line it up with a leg, it works perfectly fine. So I do like that stand. I almost wish it had 4 legs versus the 3 legs, so I wouldn't have to worry about it as much with the tip and not keeping it aligned. But it is what it is. Any stand that you put the main arm in between is going to tip over. Okay, so I had to go over to the reflector and shoot this with the frosted glass. Anytime I use a reflector on a solid background like this, I hate the look. But when I take this outside or have a distance from the background, I love the look. I love a hard light. And this reflector, yes, I know it's not quite as powerful as a faceted, larger reflector that somebody else uses, but it is plenty of power for shooting like this. I don't think there would be any problem whatsoever. And I'm honestly, I'm thinking this 400 watt second unit is punching above any other brand's 400 watt second unit because it's putting out some power. I mean, I shot at probably 1/2 to 1/4 a lot of the time. When I took it up to full power, I was above f8, ISO 80, 200th on the shutter. Like that's got some power. And remember, like going through a large softbox and a grid and still getting that kind of power, it's impressive. So I gotta say, I love these lights in every way so far. I had 1 misfire through this entire shoot. Now, I also shot 3 shoots with this. 2 were, full-size shoots with 3 different outfits, and 1 was just a short shoot. I think it was like 15 minutes. But I still had battery left at the end of it. So I'm not going to tell you how many shots I did or calculate it that way, because you really can't, because I was using TTL to test. I was dropping the power, so I can't give you an idea of what you're going to get out of it. But, for me to do 4 shoots and then or 3 shoots, and I can just plug these in, go home, and then come back and they're ready to go again, that's fantastic. I mean, if you're doing 3 shoots during a day, you can be satisfied. Unless, of course, you shoot, 2,000 shots during a shoot, then maybe you'll have an issue. But I don't. I usually shoot 300 to 400 shots in a full session. So they're great. I can't say enough about them. I I expected that they would be a decent light because, honestly, Neewer has surprised me. I'm surprised on the products that I have from them because I don't usually think about it. I see what's on sale, and if it's a good product or a product that I would want to try, like that stand, I just get it. And this one, the stand was a great find. That's on their website. I had to search for it quite a bit, but once I found it, now remember, everything on their site is like discounted. So I don't know if my discount code that I'm going to leave below is going to help. But if you miss the sale, you can still use that discount code and get 21% off these lights. Yes, 100% recommend these lights for anybody starting out. I'm not saying if you have a whole system of one brand, you should go dump it and get these, but by no means. Stick with your ecosystem that you like and that you're comfortable with. But if you're starting out and want to start out with studio lights, I would jump on these. I think they're like $300 now on sale. You cannot beat that price. For the quality of these, the ease of use, the size, the form factor, I think is fantastic. It's not a gimmick. These things kick ass. And I'm happy to present them to you. Believe me. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the shoot. Thanks for watching as always. And thanks to Emily as always, for helping me out.